There, I clicked record. I didn't want to forget. Hello, hello. How's everybody's Sunday doing? It's so nice outside, isn't it? It is so nice. I know. I love it. Yes, this will be recorded. I'm happy that you guys have found the chat box. For those of you who have not used Zoom before, it's up to you if you want to come on with your webcam. If you would prefer to stay off the video, that's okay. That's why I did open up the chat box. I know some of you guys said that you would be outside, so you might not be able to do a video, but just type in the chat box anytime if you have any questions, because we are here to talk about taxes, Epicure and taxes. But let me just first say, you know, everybody lives somewhere different, and I'm not an accountant, so I'm not telling you guys exactly how it's supposed to be. Please talk to your accountant, or talk to somebody with accounting experience. Even a bookkeeper would be helpful. But let me just say though too, like, you don't really have to worry too much about claiming if you're not making a lot of commission. And that's the thing though too. People will say to me, well, I don't think I have to worry about taxes because I'm never going to make that much where I'm going to have to claim things. Because the purpose of claiming your business expenses means that you make a certain amount of income from your commissions. When you claim things, well, that kind of helps you make more income. So it takes away from your income. So think about income and expenses. Just because you might make, and I'm just going to pick a number out of the hat here, just because you make $1,000 a year in commission for Epicure income, if you're claiming, all of the things that I'll be talking to you guys about, that's considered your expenses. So at the end of the day, you might be saying, well, yes, I made $1,000 of, Epicure income in commissions, but I had to claim, 500 of that for cooking class supplies, for all kinds of things, right? So you're not making as much as you think you are, but that helps you tax time, because as you guys probably know at this point, the more income you make, the more taxes they take away. So that's why claiming and, looking at your expenses is important, because they won't take as much of your money away, basically. So does that kind of make sense? I've been claiming my Epicure expenses since day one, but that's also because I have a number of self-employed businesses. So for those of you who do not know, I'm a mobile dental hygienist for the past 2 years now. So that's considered self-employed, and that will go under my T4A. Just to make things, I might be saying that a lot, so just to kind of to give you guys some idea. If you guys are working for Tim Hortons, they will issue a T4 at the end of the year, and that will tell you guys everything that you made in your income. But if you're self-employed, you will be issued a T4A. So I don't know if you guys had noticed, for those of you guys who have been with Epicure for a while, they will send you a T4A in the mail. So that's telling your accountant, well, this is my self-employed business income. So I'm a mobile dental hygienist, plus I have Epicure, plus I tutor online. So I have sort of 3 self-employment incomes. So I have always had to claim Epicure because I'm making enough from my tutoring plus my mobile dental hygiene business. If you're just doing Epicure, claiming might not make much of a difference to you unless you're making a lot in commissions, but it can't hurt to learn today how to do all of that, so that when you do start making a good amount of commission, you can say, okay, I'm going to start claiming things because I need these things to do my Epicure business. So I'm going to show you guys a quick Excel sheet here. Good question. So somebody's asking me how long this webinar will take. I don't know. I didn't really set aside a time. I'm thinking half an hour. So it's not going to be a full hour or anything. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And if you guys can't stay for the whole thing, that's okay. This will be, or it is being recorded. I should have it up in a couple hours so you guys can see that all afterwards. But I'm just going to share my screen here, you guys. So I'm showing an Excel document. So this is literally how I keep track of my, sorry guys, I tried to zoom in, but I guess it doesn't really let me. I don't know if you guys can even see this okay. If not, I'm just going to read it out to you. So this is how I keep track of all of my income and expenses. Mine looks very, very different because I have to put in all of my self-employment income here. So I just kind of picked out the important categories that I use specifically for Epicure. Why I like Excel is because you can, you know, put in numbers and then you are able to add them up. So let's just say you wanted to add up these columns here, and I can actually leave a note for you guys on how to do this if you don't know how. But let's say you want to add up like everything that's in this column. You would go equal sum, the open bracket, you would highlight what you want to add up, and see how it sort of highlights B4 to B5, and then you would close that bracket. Whoops, push enter, which I think I did not push enter. I somehow did this. Push enter, and then see how it does add everything up. So that's why I use Excel. You don't have to, like you can do it on paper. Some people just simply like to put it on paper because it's easier for them, but I like to use Excel so that I can add everything up. There's probably tons of like money apps and things that you can do on your phone too. I love QuickBooks. I'm just pulling it up right now. QuickBooks, I have the QuickBooks, so there's different types. You can get a QuickBook where it's just on your computer, or you can get one where it's on your QuickBooks app, plus you can log into it online. That's what I did. I pay about, I think it's like $10.15 a month. That's it, but it's totally worth it. And I'm just trying to show you guys what it looks like here. Oh, here we go. So this is my QuickBooks like app. Can everybody see this okay? So it just sort of makes it so easy where if I say to myself, oh, well, I have to purchase some cooking class supplies. You can just simply enter it in here by clicking expenses and then doing everything like that way. How I did it was I have my bank account set up, my bank account and my credit card. So anytime I use my credit card, because I have a business one, anytime I use the business credit card, it will actually show up in the app. So I don't have to keep track and sort of say, okay, I just did a cooking class expense. I'm just going to mark that down here. So I don't even have to keep track of that. It keeps track of everything for me if I use my credit card or my bank account that I have set up. It's just very, very easy. And the nice thing with that is you just have to print out everything at the end, you know, of the year, and it does have everything for you. So you don't even need something like Excel, but I still do, I don't know, I still like to have Excel, and I use QuickBooks. So I kind of make more work for myself, but I do like to have both. But if you guys want to learn more about QuickBooks, let me know. It is so much easier. I can't even tell you how much time it has saved me, because we all have the best of intentions. We all think, okay, I'm going to make note of all of my expenses for the week, you know, but then that week comes to an end and then you say, oh shoot, I kind of forgot to do that. Oh, you know what? I'll just do it next week. And then it happens to be, oh, it's now June, what's the date today? June the 7th, and I haven't keeping track of my expenses for the year. So then you have to go back and, you know, make note of everything. Trust me, it takes too much time. It's doable, but you will be exhausted at the end. Takes way too much time. So have something like Excel or QuickBooks. QuickBooks is just easier because you pretty much have an app, put it in, and that's it. Now, a popular question that people usually have for me is, how do I do it month per month? So what you could do is you could do the columns up here, say for each month. I find this is what most people do, but that's not how I do it, but this is what you could do. So like you could do it month per month. So in January, how much you spent on gas, you know, overall, on cooking class supplies overall. So then that way it's just so easy to see everything. And that is actually probably the easiest and the most organized. But what I like to do is I kind of like to see like everything on a grander scale. So what I do is, so kind of ignore the first part here, you guys, for just a second. So what I do is I do my months in this column. So I will literally like copy all of this. And these titles aren't exact either, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little like look-see on how things work. So I will do it this way. So I actually put the months in the next column like this. And then I'll leave a couple spaces. I'll do February. And then I will copy the same categories again. So you really could do it either way. It's just I like it this way because I feel like I can see what I'm spending per month. Now, you could put your income and expenses on the same sheet to just sort of keep everything together. I do my income and expenses on a separate sheet, but let's just say you want to do it on the bottom of the month. Say, you know, Epicure commissions income. That would be easy, but just to kind of have it stand out to you so that you or your accountant knows that's not an expense, that's income, I would suggest doing it like a different color. So I'm just gonna pick blue, okay? So I would do this all in blue, so then that way like they can see like, okay, like this isn't, let's just say you made $1,000 in commissions in January. Good for you. So let's just say you did that. That way they can see, okay, well, $1,000 isn't expenses, but that's income. So that's totally up to you, you guys. But as I said before, I have 3 businesses technically, so I just put my income on one separate Excel spreadsheet. So that's just kind of how you could do it. It's totally up to you. And I find, whoops, you can try one way, and then if you feel like, okay, this isn't the most organized, then try something else. Like you could put the months up here, you could put the months down here. It's completely up to you. If you use the app like QuickBooks, you don't have to worry about any of this. So yes, good question. So somebody's asking me, so what types of things can you claim? Now, you guys have probably noticed my home category here, okay? So the key thing about that is, think about it this way. You, even if you don't have a set office in your home, you probably sit somewhere with your laptop and you're on the internet or you're on your cell phone, and that's the room you use for your Epicure business. Now, it's more so for my home. I'm just trying to think of how I did this. I did not say that I'm using my home office for my Epicure business, but that's because I use my home office for my tutoring plus for my patients. So I kind of didn't really need to claim that because it's being claimed for something else anyway. But for you guys, where you're just claiming Epicure, it's more so your cooking classes. So let's say you're having people over for cooking classes. Your living room, or let's just say your dining room and kitchen, is probably set up a certain way so that like everybody's staying there. So you can claim your kitchen and you can claim your dining room. Now, people usually ask me this next question, and that is, so if I decide to renovate my kitchen, can I put that as part of my Epicure expense? Yes, you can, but not the whole thing, because you would be using your kitchen for personal use also. But that's where an accountant comes in. You probably don't know how much you're able to claim as, you know, your personal kitchen uses versus your Epicure cooking class, right? Because I have to do this when I tutor. When I'm claiming my tutoring and for my patients and even for Epicure. Like I have to say, okay, for the internet, how much is that personal use? How much is it for tutoring? How much is it for my patients? How much is it for Epicure? So you do have to put in a percentage. Of course, that percentage would be out of 100. So if you say like 95% of your kitchen is for personal use and 5% is for your, Epicure cooking classes, that makes sense. So you can actually claim like 5% of your new kitchen, but that's not how it works out at the end. So don't think you can do up your whole kitchen and then have you get that money back at the end of the year. No, that's not how it works. They just simply apply it as a credit, so you're not making as much income as it looks like you are because you have expenses. But that's a good thing because the more income you make, the more taxes you have to pay. So this is where, claiming comes in handy. Does anybody have any questions though so far? Okay, so let's just go from the top here so I don't forget anything. So, I did this at the top because this is slightly confusing and I'm going to say it again, not to sound like a broken record, but talk to your accountant about this. If you're claiming any car expenses, like anything, if you're claiming, you have to get the oil change every 6 months. In fact, actually, you guys, sorry, I forgot to put that in here. Let's say car maintenance. Okay, so you can claim your car insurance. You can claim your car maintenance, such as, oil changes if you need winter tires. But just remember, you won't be getting all of that money back. That's not how it works. But as soon as you claim car expenses, that means you need business insurance on your car, okay? You might have heard this before. You might have heard if you have like one of those Epicure signs on your car, that's considered your business vehicle. You need extra insurance on top of that. It's almost not worth it. It's really not. But again, talk to your accountant because I could be wrong. It might be worth it to you. You can't claim car expenses unless you have, specific business insurance, okay? A lot of people ask me, well, how are they going to know if I have specific business insurance or not? Well, they're not going to unless they audit you. And then you might have to pay all of that money back that you had claimed. Does it ever happen? Not really, but that's just what the accountants tell you. So just be careful. And if you're going to claim anything with your car, you need to keep note of your personal car use and then obviously your business use. So like your kilometers per year, you need to make a note of that and then say how many of those kilometers were for personal use, how many of that was, say, traveling to customers' houses to drop off, Epicure, or how many of that was to go to customers' houses for their cooking classes. Make note of that. It's usually not worth it, but talk to your accountant because for you, it might be. Okay, you guys, so cooking class supplies. So this is fun. You can literally order every single new product as soon as the catalog comes out, and that is considered a business expense, you guys, because that is cooking class products that you need to use for your cooking class. Even if you only do cooking classes online, let's say you do everything, you're cooking, you're doing a video where you're showing people how to cook online. That is still considered a business expense, but it's the same thing. You need to make note of, for your cooking class product supplies, how much of that is personal use and how much is it for Epicure. That's always hard to really know, so you just sort of have to pick numbers and like do the estimate. Like I couldn't even tell you now, like, okay, what is the percentage of how much I use for my cooking classes, but I'm going to use that for my personal use too. More so if you're doing your cooking classes, say online. you are the only one eating the food afterwards, right? Because there's nobody else there. So you would use more of a percentage for personal use than for Epicure. Whereas if you're going to a customer's house to do a cooking class, well, most of that cooking class products and cooking class supplies is for the business because other people are eating the food. But the cookware, that's probably what you use at home. So you have to keep that in mind, right? But don't, you know, get too stuck on percentages. I would just pick something. It's more so like if you tell them you use 90% of cooking class supplies for your Epicure business and then 10% for personal. Well, does that really make sense? Probably not, right? So you kind of have to think of what makes the most sense. Shipping. If you guys are, you know, ever telling customers, oh, well, shipping's like $11.25, but this week only, it's only $6.95. If you're doing like a shipping credit, make note of that because that's considered a business expense. I do this all the time. You guys have probably seen me offer free shipping. I still have to pay for that, for the shipping, right? Like somebody has to pay for it. So I will put the money that I paid as a business expense. And that's another reason why I do my per month sort of down here and not like this way, because I would have to add up like all of the shipping expenses for that month separately. Yet this way, like I can say, okay, well, I paid like $1.50 of the shipping for this person. I paid like $4 of the shipping for this person. I paid $6 for the shipping for this person. So I just sort of make note of all of the numbers that way. So that's why I like it this way too, so that I can look back at the end of the year and say, okay, like where did this 150 come from? I will check my notes and then say, oh, well, I had said that I had given Sarah $1.50 off of her shipping. So, okay, that makes sense. So keep track of everything. Free product credits. So if you like to do like free product, if you're hosting a party and the first person who orders gets a free product, make a note of that product. So if you're giving them, if you're doing a draw for the multi-purpose steamer, I can't think of how much it is with taxes, but just for number's sake, we'll just do $50. That is considered a business expense because you don't have to do that, but that's sort of helping your customers, helping your business, right? So make note of that. I put down here home office supplies. So let's say you need to buy a clipboard to keep all of your Epicure catalogs in place. That is considered a home office Epicure, your like home office supplies, right? Home office might not be the right word. So let's just say office supplies for this case. Or let's say you needed to buy a new backpack to keep all of your Epicure products in for when you're moving from house to house, you know, like cooking class to cooking class. That is considered a business expense. If you have to buy new pens, pencils to mark things down, that's considered a business expense, right? So make sure to make note of that. Let's say you needed to buy a new dining room table because yours was looking pretty old, and now that you're having people over for cooking classes, well, you kind of need something nicer. That is considered an office supply. So does that make sense? Hopefully. Yes, that's a good question. What about when you guys order, there was a special on Vistaprint to get some, you could make your own like Epicure jar labels, business cards. That is all considered a business expense. So that would probably be under, not advertising, no, maybe advertising. Let me check my app. I think advertising actually would be the best one. What do I put mine under? Sorry guys, I'm just checking my categories. Yes, I do it under advertising. So because that kind of makes sense, right? For your like labels. Well, it doesn't even have to be under advertising. You could just sort of pick any category, but like, or to keep it simple, I would actually say, if you're ordering like all of it from one company, I would put the actual company in there so that you could say like anytime you have to order labels or your cards for your business, what else would you order for Epicure? If you're ordering like labels to put on catalogs, like such as, you know, put your name, your like number, email, and then say if you want to order anything from this catalog, like let me know. In fact, I printed a bunch of labels that anytime I give a catalog, I stick it on the catalog. So anytime I give a catalog, I stick one of my labels on there, just in case you guys were curious. So I could have ordered these, but I just simply purchased like these sheets and made the labels online. It's just so much easier, so much cheaper. But I mean, like, you could do anything. So that is considered a business expense. Now, if you guys look under home, you can do all of this as a business expense too, because think about it. You can't have cooking classes in your home if you don't have a home, right? So that should be a business expense. But of course, most of that's for personal use, right? But you would still say, oh, like 5%. Like if you're doing a cooking class, let's say once a week, I don't know what percentage that is. You might want to ask your accountant, but let's just say that's 5%. So that is your 5% usage for your business expense. The internet. You need the internet to be able to place Epicure orders, post on your social media. You need the internet for that, right? And who's paying for the internet? You are. So that is a business expense. Your hydro is like part of the home. What, I'm forgetting some. Oh yes, your home insurance. Make a note of that because that's part of the home. Just kind of looking at my side notes here. Your cell phone. That is a business expense. I am on my cell phone a lot, just like talking to customers, placing customer orders, social media. That's all considered a business expense. And you do have to make note, if you're claiming anything as part of your home, you do need to make note of, okay, so what is the square footage of your kitchen? Because they need to know, well, how much of your kitchen are you claiming? And you need the overall square footage of your home too. These ones you don't have to have obviously per month because that's not going to change. But I just have it per month, like just because it just sort of keeps everything organized, but you don't have to. So does that make sense, you guys? Yeah, so I can't really tell you how much you have to make before you have to claim. That is something for the accountant because it comes into account your income. It comes into account sort of any income you're making. So I can't really give you the answer for that. I started claiming my Epicure right away because if I'm making an income, that's income. And I know for me that they're going to use that, right? So any expense, I just put it down there so I don't have to pay back too much tax at the end of the year. In fact, I didn't have to pay back anything this year. They had actually owed me a refund of like $1,000 or something. You know what? I pay my accountant, but mine's different though because mine's very complicated. I have my tutoring business, I have my mobile dental hygiene business, and Epicure. So I pay about $700 a year for the accounting. But if you're just having an accountant like help you with your Epicure business, it's not going to be that much. If it is, I would look for another accountant because they will not have to look through many different things. Like you have no idea. It gets very confusing with all of my businesses, but you might have to pay maybe $100 a year for your accountant, but please don't quote me. I don't know. But it will not be like $700 that I have to pay. And it does depend on how pretty much organized you are. If you don't have something showing your like your expenses every month, they don't know what to claim. And unless you show them what you're doing, they're not going to know. But trust me, you guys, it's worth every penny. Even if you don't think you're making enough, you probably are. So, because you can claim so much. Good. I'm glad this helped. Oh, and I should say, you guys, this is for Canada. The rules are probably different in the US. Again, please talk to your accountant because in fact, I know the numbers are different from US to Canada of like how much you can claim and how much income you have to make before you claim. So please check with your accountant. But the moral of the story is everybody should be claiming, and just people don't know where to start. Makes sense. So this is just kind of this is where you start and go from there. You will probably have a lot of questions along the way. That's why I'm here. So let me know if you have any questions, and I am very, very happy to help. And yeah, you guys, that is literally it. Like, that's as simple as it gets. I didn't want to make things too complicated for you guys, but this is as simple as it gets. The nice thing is, like, anytime you do order from Epicure, that's considered a business expense. And that's exciting because I don't know about you guys, but every time a new catalog is out, like, I want everything. But then I say, okay, $400 later, oh my gosh. But then I think, oh my gosh, but that's part of my cooking classes. That's a business expense, you guys. So it's totally worth it. Any other questions though, you guys? Like, any questions, or was I confusing in something? No? Okay, good. So I will let you guys think about this. Try to get organized. I can leave I can leave a link for you guys too of the QuickBooks that I like to use, because there's the online version. There's a computer version, but I like the online version because you can get the app and you can check it on your computer at the same time. If you get, like, there's different levels. Oh shoot, what level do I have? I think it's just, I have the one, because there's a self-employed one. I don't have that one. I have the one above, so I think it's pro. But look into it because your needs might be a little bit different. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on a Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye.